the CIA, the billion-dollar CEO, the Fortune 500, and UFC fighters all rely on one ancient book to dominate. And it was written by a Chinese general who never loses a battle. This book is banned in 3 countries because it teaches how to manipulate anyone and win without fighting. Here's the Dark Truth by Suntzu, which they didn't want you to know. Hello my crown ones, welcome back. Here we will strategy as our secret weapon and turn self-improvement into quiet revolution and forge the divine feminine woman who rules from her glow. First lesson, you were born crowned. They were simply forgot about it. Now, let's remind them again. This book isn't about war. It's about absolute strategy. And today I'm breaking down 7 principles which no one didn't taught you in business school. Principle number 1, win first, then fight. This principle is used by CIA, which they use it for espionage, and billionaires use it for monopolizing the market. So, in 2001, Apple was dying and Microsoft owned the market. So what did Steve Jobs do? He spent 2 years designing secretly the iPod, a product that Microsoft never didn't saw it coming. By the time that Microsoft reacted, it was too late. Sun Tzu teaches us here, the victory comes from preparation, not desperation. The battlefield is just a formality. Another example, which I think it might be relatable, is when you want to go for a job interview. You prepare all of the answers, you prepare all of your documents, and you study the market and the company that you're applying to. So, technically, you are applying the first principle of Sun Tzu, which is win first, then fight. So many of these principles, we use it on a daily basis. But I believe it is much better if you know it consciously and apply them consciously as well. Not just because you know it might be working. Sometimes we do everything unconsciously like a robot, but we do not want to have that anymore. Principle number 2, know yourself and know your opponent. Why? Self-awareness is the ultimate weapon. Also, this principle is known as the spy principle. Netflix knew the Blockbuster's leadership ignored streaming. They knew their own tech was weak early on, so they partnered with Xbox to dominate. Sun Tzu's deadliest rule isn't about attacking. It's about seeing reality clearly. Another example which I think a lot of us can relate to is you are a very bad morning person, but you forced yourself to start your workout at 6 a.m. or start your day at 6 in the morning, which always there is one result, which is failing. So instead, by the principle of Sun Tzu, we can learn you need to prepare your schedule based on yourself, which you are the sharpest at those times. You need to list your strength, not your ego, and your enemy's blind spots, which most losers fail here. Principle number 3, speed over strength. How to exploit timing, procrastination's enemy. In 2008, Airbnb was dying. The only strength that the Airbnb had, it was just a pretty website. And their speed move, they flew to New York to take the pictures themselves. And they went live in 48 hours. Sun Tzu always says that the speed is the essence of war. But as I said, it's not literally a war that we are talking about. It's your daily life that you need to know how to be prepared and be strategic for every move. Also, have you ever procrastinated? That's your enemy winning over you. That's your enemy without even fighting with you. Also, one of the examples that I think a lot of us can see and relate to is you always are waiting for the perfect time to start, for example, taking beautiful pictures of yourself, or start painting, or starting your new business, or start that side hustle, or go back to school again. But someone else does it first, because the speed is better than the strength. So how we should overcome this situation that we say, I'm waiting for the perfect time to open my business, you need to act like Airbnb. Launch a basic version now, improve later, or technically improve by the time goes on. And I want you, for this principle, do something. I want you to, for the next 24 hours, execute one critical task before you are ready. Because speed terrifies the giants, and that's not a big giant goblin that you think. Principle number 4, the empty fort strategy. Bluffing wisely and when not to, which also known as the poker face principle. In 1950, the Chinese general Zhu Enlai, I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong, left his city's gate wide open, daring 30,000 enemy troops to attack. They retreated, fearing a trap. Also, this is how Elon Musk tweeted funding secured with zero proof and spiked Tesla's stock. And when to bluff only if your reputation precedes you. So, for the Chinese general, they had a very good reputation. They feared, even though it wasn't true and it was just a bluff, they feared him truly. Also, I'm not sure about Elon Musk, but everyone knows everything that he touches, I believe it turns to gold, or I can be wrong. But, also, we need to mention when to fold, So, sometimes we have to bluff and sometimes we shouldn't. So, when we shouldn't bluff is when we have to fold, which is if you are actually weak. And Sun Tzu warned us here that do not repeat tactics, okay? We never know. Principle number 5. Shape your enemy. Force others to play your game, which is also known as the chess master principle. In Vietnam, the guerrillas fighters lured the US troops into the jungle, where the tanks were useless. Sun Tzu here tells us, make the enemy come to you on your terms. Also, Steve Jobs forced music labels to accept 99-cent songs on iTunes by making piracy seem worse. So, Sun Tzu teaches here that frame every battle so your opponent choose the one that you want. And also change the battlefield to favor you. Principle number 6, attack weakness and avoid strength, which is very equal to 80-20 rule of conflict. Also known as the assassin principle. There is a UFC champion, which named Habib, which he doesn't box strikers. He drags them to the ground where he's the strongest. Sun Tzu teaches us here that navigate like water around rocks into cracks. In business, Amazon avoided Walmart store and obliterated their supply chain instead. You should stop moving head first. Stop attacking head on and find the one unguarded flank. Sun Tzu lesson here is ignore their armor, stab the gaps. Principle number 7, victory without battle. Negotiation rather than annihilation, which is known also as a diplomat principle. In 1989, Disney wanted land for Euro Disney. Instead of bidding, they leaked the plans into French media, which sparked the public demand, which Sun Tzu teaches here. Supreme excellence, breaking resistance without fighting. In this principle, you need to always ask yourself before you make a move, can I win by making my enemy want to lose? There is one example that I saw a lot of times. Maybe you and your friends can have a different opinion about other stuff and you're both very fiery person. You cannot agree on the same topic for something. So what we can do here, instead of arguing with your friend, just say, okay, you are right, let's agree to disagree. And that's it. Sometimes surrender is the victory. And before we finish this chapter, these aren't tips. They are laws of power. Miss one and you will bleed energy on lost battles. Master them, you will win wars nobody even saw it coming. Thank you so much for watching, my crown ones. Let me know which principle will you use first and I will break down exactly for you how you can use it. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.